My mother once said something harsh: whoever wants to marry me must give 50 yuan. My older sister then went around telling others, my younger brother is a bit fat, a bit dark, and besides being a bit short, he's still very suitable to be a husband. Hearing that, her best friends couldn't stand it. One by one, they couldn't run away fast enough. Until one day, a man with fine eyebrows and beautiful eyes, Su Wanrao, appeared in the banquet hall. In that moment, her best friends all went crazy. This is the person you said was a bit fat, a bit dark, your younger brother who was a bit short? It was only because Su Wanru was famously obsessed with her younger brother. She was afraid I'd be noticed by her best friends, so she always claimed to outsiders that I was short, ugly, and stingy. This caused me to never have dated anyone since I became an adult. My adoptive parents were worried to death. What kind of wife are you actually looking for? If you want to marry my precious little brother, you'll have to be better to him than I am. At that time, I was just burying my head in her arms, so she couldn't see my blushing face. She didn't know that she was the one in my heart. My feelings for her were not accepted by society, so I always hid it very carefully, until the night it was discovered. The woman who pampered me to the bone slapped me for the first time. Have you no shame? The next day she announced her engagement to my best friend. Don't forget to attend my and Jinian's wedding. After seeing that, I nearly cried all my tears out. Just at this moment, the organization for finding relatives called. They said my biological parents had been found, so I resolved to leave her. I called my biological parents across the ocean. Mom, Dad, I agree to go abroad and live with you. Hearing me say this, my parents on the other end of the line were so moved they burst into tears. That's wonderful, Xiao Yu. If it weren't for the earthquake that year, our family wouldn't have been separated for so many years. We'll come and bring you home now. A strange bitterness welled up in my heart. I took a breath to calm my surging emotions. Please give me another half a month. I still have some things to take care of here. Once I'm done, I'll go over. Right. It's our fault for being thoughtless. After all, the Su family has raised you for so many years. I heard that your older sister has doted on you since you were little. You should say a proper goodbye to them. Hearing Su Wanrao's name mentioned, my heart trembled slightly. At 6 years old, a massive earthquake separated me from my parents. I was eventually arranged by an organization to be adopted by the Su family. The Su family is a prestigious, old money family. Father Su and Mother Su were busy with work. Although they adopted me, they didn't give me much attention. Instead of saying I was raised by the Su family, it's more accurate to say I was raised by Su Wanru. At 7 years old, I was afraid of thunderstorms. She would hold me and sing lullabies to help me sleep. At 10, I craved the snacks and toys my classmates had. She bought out the entire convenience store for me. She spoiled me into a little prince that everyone envied. At 14, I fainted at home from a fever. It was she who ran up and down to get me hot water and even fed me medicine bit by bit. Whatever I wanted, she would always manage to bring it to me immediately. Everyone here always teased her for being obsessed with her little brother. No one knew that. During those countless nights we relied on each other, I had long since fallen for Su Wanru. But I didn't dare to confess. I only dared to secretly write down my feelings for her in a diary or confide in my good brother, Song Jinian. But I never would have imagined that Song Jinian would tell Su Wanru about it. That night, Su Wanru suddenly burst into my room, found that diary with a grim expression, and tore it to shreds. She threw the shredded pieces of the diary at me. Before I could even say a word, she slammed the door and left. After that, she always found ways to avoid me, never seeing me. Even when we occasionally met, the look in her eyes was cold and emotionless, as if she were looking at a stranger. I wanted to go and ask her for an explanation, but I caught Su Wanru and Song Jinian kissing passionately in a corner. I thought perhaps many things were already fated by the heavens. Fated that Su Wanru and I had no possibility. Fated that my time in the Su family, these years, was just a fanciful dream. Now, I should also return to my own original path. So I made a decision. I decided to return to the home that belonged to me, and also decided to let go of my years of feelings for Su Wanru. That day, I went downstairs very early. Seeing my adoptive parents enthusiastically calling me for breakfast, I smiled obediently and went to sit down beside them. Then, I told them that I had found my biological parents and decided to go abroad to find them. I let my adoptive parents know. This is a good thing. Xiao Yu, I'm so happy that you found your real family. Have you told your sister about this yet? I was stunned. I have to tell Su Wanru? Her mind is completely focused on Song Jinian now. What difference would it make whether I tell her or not? What do you want to say to me? I suddenly turned my head and saw her standing at the door. Nothing. You're back, sis. Hearing this form of address I hadn't heard in a long time, Su Wanrao's steps faltered. She couldn't help but give me a deep look. Since when did I stop calling her sis? Was it when I was 18, 15, or even earlier? Now I've started calling her sis again. Su Wanrao's gaze was profound. She stared at me for a long time, feeling that something about me seemed to have changed. After a long while, she finally lowered her eyes, withdrawing her gaze. She walked over and placed the gift she was holding on the table, speaking nonchalantly. Mom, Dad, this is a gift Jinian bought for you. He said it's a small token of his appreciation. He hopes you'll like it. Like it? Of course we like it. The gifts Jinian gives are always so nice. Have you thanked him for us? Wanru, Next time you visit Jinian's family, bring the jar of black tea from the cabinet. If you're free this weekend, invite the boy and his parents over. It's clear they want to discuss the wedding. I sat still, watching them quietly. A feeling of loneliness washed over my heart. My nails dug into my palm, then quickly let go. In this moment, I once again clearly felt that I was just an outsider. But in the future, I won't have to be troubled by these things anymore. Thinking of this, I calmly stood up and went to my room. Hearing the movement, Su Wanru, who was chatting with her parents, looked up. She only saw my back disappearing behind the door. Is it my imagination? Since he came back, he's only said one sentence. It's really not like his old personality. In the afternoon, I took my household registration book to the police station to handle the transfer procedures. As soon as I came down the stairs, I saw Song Jinian sitting next to Su Wanru, grinning brightly as he watched her peel a tangerine. Su Wanru's slender fingers nimbly peeled the tangerine, then removed every bit of white pith. She separated half and brought it to Song Jinian's lips. Song Jinian's cheeks gradually turned red. He glanced at her, then obediently bit the tangerine slice from her fingers. Su Wanru let out a soft chuckle. She then pulled a tissue from the box beside her and carefully wiped the corner of his mouth. Is it sweet? Song Jinian nodded. He took the other half of the tangerine and offered it to Su Wanru. You should try some too. Watching their intimate scene, I quietly averted my gaze and walked towards the door. Xiaoyu. I turned around. I saw him waving at me. Wanru is on leave today. We've planned to go to the park. Do you want to come with us? You two are on a date. It wouldn't be right for me to intrude. We're all family. What's there to intrude on? I have something to do. Maybe next time. Hearing me refuse again, the smile on Song Jinian's face immediately stiffened. Xiaoyu, are you still mad at me for stealing your sister? Is that why you don't want to hang out with us? The person my sister likes is you. How can you call it stealing? This sentence made Song Jinian's ears turn red. Su Wanru chuckled softly and threw herself into his arms. If he doesn't want to go, then let it be. Just ignore him. It should be ignore me. And we'll go our separate ways, each to their own path. I politely said goodbye to them and turned to leave. After finishing the household registration transfer, I left the police station and went to the racing club. In the office, there was an entire wall covered with the honors we had achieved, along with photos from various races. I looked at it, my eyes filled with emotion and reluctance. I never expected the farewell to come so suddenly. Master walked in from outside and patted my shoulder. Looking at the master who had guided me for 10 years, the reluctance I had just suppressed welled up in my throat again. I pinched my palm and took a deep breath. Master, I'm going abroad soon. My biological parents have found me. I want to settle abroad with them. That's a good thing. So, will you continue racing after you go abroad? Racing has always been my dream. I won't just give it up. I will continue in the future. So you're leaving right now? The biggest national tournament is about to start. You have a great chance of winning the championship this time. I've already discussed it with my parents. I'll head over after I've handled things here. There's still half a month. It's just enough time to finish this tournament. Only then did Master feel relieved. He patted my shoulder. I talked with Master for a while longer. It wasn't until very late that I picked up my bag and headed home. As a result, as soon as I pushed open the door, I found that Song Jinian was still here. Listening closely, I realized they were discussing wedding matters. Those styles of suits and wedding dresses, I was getting dizzy just looking at them. I was thinking of asking Xiaoyu for his opinion. After all, we've been good brothers for so many years. He understands my preferences. As he said this, I happened to walk in. Xiaoyu, your brother-in-law is stressing over this. How about you go with him for the next few days to pick out things for the wedding? I saw the corners of Song Jinian's eyes crinkle with a smile. But the moment our eyes met, the smile turned into a provocation. I lowered my eyes in thought and still refused. Sorry, I'm not free. The club still has things to do. I only have half a month left. Before I leave, I have a lot of things to take care of. I don't have any time to go shopping with Song Jinian. But as soon as the words left my mouth, the atmosphere instantly became heavy. Your best friend is about to get married. Can't your matters be put aside? This is settled. I'll go ask for leave for you tomorrow. If he was using his status as an elder to force me to take leave, what right did I have to refuse? Hearing this, a bitter smile formed on my lips. I said nothing more. For the next few days, I was forced to put everything aside and wholeheartedly accompany Song Jinian to choose wedding supplies. I originally thought he just needed to pick a few things at the mall, but I didn't expect him to drag me from the south of the city to the north. Major things like a wedding dress and minor things like a wine glass all had to be decided by me. Every time I suggested he send someone to ask Su Wanru, he would say petulantly, "Why ask your sister? She's so busy. Besides giving me money, she doesn't understand anything. You're still the one who understands me best." Last time I asked her to choose wedding rings with me, guess what she did? She directly sent an entire cabinet of wedding rings to my house, telling me to choose whatever I wanted. He complained to me, but his eyes were full of unconcealable pride. I listened in silence, not giving him the reaction he expected. Song Jinian was about to say something else, when the corner of his eye suddenly caught sight of the woman at the door. Wanru, why are you here? I looked up and saw him run into Su Wanrao's arms. Didn't you say you wanted to go to the temple on the mountain outskirts to pray for blessings? I took half a day off to come pick you up. Xiaoyu has been with me these past few days. How about he comes with us? Su Wanru didn't even glance at me. She just picked up her purchases and walked out. Following the distant ringing of bells, the thick fog gradually dissipated, revealing the mountain scenery outside the temple. I bowed my head, staring intently at the stone path beneath my feet, and walked out step by step. What is this? A voice suddenly interrupted my thoughts. Looking up, I saw Song Jinian standing in front of a Bodhi tree, gazing intently at the prayer ribbons hanging on it. May Xiaoyu be happy every year. May all his wishes come true every year. May Xiaoyu be blessed with good fortune and health in this life. May he only meet kind people. May my boy, Xiaoyu, day in and day out, year after year, be safe and sound. From the faithful devotee, Su Wanru. I looked at these prayer ribbons again, my heart trembling slightly. My thoughts drifted further and further away. Because of that big earthquake, my health has never been good. A minor illness every 3 days, a major one every 5. So that I would get well soon, Su Wanru came to the temple every week to hang prayer ribbons for me, praying for my well-being. I never knew that over the years, Su Wanru had hung so many. Now these prayer ribbons are still hanging on the tree, but Su Wanru and I can never go back. The bond between you two siblings is so good, it makes me feel like a third wheel. Song Jinian couldn't read anymore. His face turned cold, and he turned to leave. Don't be difficult. What third wheel? You are my husband. He's just my younger brother. If you're not happy, they'll have someone take these down. After saying that, Su Wanru turned and told her followers to rip all the prayer ribbons off the tree. One by one, the prayer ribbons fell to the ground, casually trampled by people and covered in mud. Very quickly, the tree was filled with new prayer ribbons. On them were all the sweet nothings that Su Wanru specially wrote for Song Jinian. Only then did Song Jinian smile again. He shot me a smug glance. You did that. Won't Xiaoyu be angry? How can a younger brother be as important as a husband? This sentence immediately pleased Song Jinian. On the way back to the city, he kept clinging to Su Wanru. I sat in the back seat and closed my eyes, preparing to rest. Suddenly, the car's speed skyrocketed. I opened my eyes, and just as I was about to ask what happened, a loud explosion suddenly rang in my ears. The car suddenly lost control, broke through the guardrail, flipped several times, and finally got stuck in a mountain ravine. My head slammed hard against the back of the seat, the impact making my vision go black. When I regained consciousness, I found my whole body trapped in the seat. My arm had been pierced by a tree branch, and next to me, Song Jinian had also fainted. He didn't look seriously injured, just fainted from shock. Su Wanru in the driver's seat reacted very quickly. She was the first to break the car window and crawl out of the car. She staggered a few times before she could stand firm, looked at me, who was suffocating from the pain, and the unconscious Song Jinian. She hesitated for only a moment before hoisting Song Jinian onto her back. I'll take Jinian first. I'll send someone to get you later. After saying that, without looking at my expression, she hurriedly left with Song Jinian on her back, as if afraid something bad would happen to him. The moment I decided to give up on her, I told myself that I would never cry for her again. From now on, I would only live for myself. But when I was alone, pinned by the car in the ravine, I couldn't help but remember the earthquake from that year. Back then, I was also buried in the rubble. In the darkness underground, there was nothing but me. I was trapped for 3 days and 3 nights. After that, I was adopted by the Su family. Every day, I dreamt of those days during the earthquake and would cry and tremble under the covers. Back then, Su Wanru would always run into my room, hold me tightly in her arms. Don't be afraid. Be good. I'm here. From now on, I won't let you suffer any more harm. But now, I watched helplessly as she walked further and further away until she completely disappeared from my sight. The sky grew darker and darker, but I still didn't see Su Wanru return. I laughed bitterly. I gathered my last bit of strength, ignoring the pain, and struggled to crawl out from under the car. Then I gritted my teeth and yanked the branch out of my arm. Finally, I slowly crawled out. I don't know how long I crawled, but I finally made it to the main road before completely passing out. When I woke up again, I found myself lying in a hospital bed, my arm wrapped in a thick layer of gauze. My last memory was being rescued by a kind passerby. And since I was hospitalized, Su Wanru hasn't visited me once. I heard from the nurse that she's taking care of Song Jinian. Song Jinian was only slightly injured, but she booked an entire floor for him, just so he could recuperate. Hearing this, I subconsciously looked at my bandaged arm. I remembered the year I was hospitalized for a minor cold. Su Wanru, just like now, treated it as if facing a great enemy, staying by my side without leaving for a moment. On the day of my discharge, many friends came to see me. Among them was a girl who used to have a crush on me. Looking at the bouquet of flowers presented to me, I subconsciously wanted to refuse. But the girl hesitantly interrupted me. Xiaoyu, don't overthink it. These are flowers to congratulate you on your discharge. I know you're leaving soon. I just hope you live well in the future. Hearing that, I was stunned for a moment before thanking her. As a result, as soon as I turned to leave, and saw Su Won-ro standing at the door. In my memory, she rarely got angry, but right now her face was dark. Her icy gaze stared at the flower in my hand, and then she immediately turned and left. I was stunned, a little confused, not understanding what she was angry about, but I didn't think too much about it. As soon as I got home, I put the bouquet in a vase. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. I leaned on the wall and slowly went to open the door. The door opened, and Su Won-ro's face appeared before me. Ever since she found out about my feelings, our relationship had dropped to a freezing point. Su Won-ro never knocked on my door anymore. What is she doing here now? Just as I opened my mouth, Su Won-ro threw her arms around me. Her sudden action made me take a few steps back. The next day, when I came out of the living room, I saw Su Won-ro walking towards me with a frown. "Why are you in my room?" Seeing that she had no memory of last night, I was just about to speak when she coldly interrupted me. "Did you bring me in?" "Xiao Yu, I've told you that we're impossible. Besides, I'm getting married soon. Have you still not given up?" I froze. Then I lowered my head, saying nothing. What was the point in saying anything? The fact that I like her is a sin. Now in her eyes, everything I do is wrong. Seeing my red-rimmed eyes and my silent bowed head, Su Won-ro's breath hitched slightly. Just as she was about to approach me, a gentle male voice came from outside. "Won-ro." He walked in from outside and was just about to smile and hug her when his smile suddenly stiffened slightly. "Why is the corner of your mouth split?" "It's nothing. Probably a mosquito bite." She subconsciously touched her lips, then gave me a meaningful look. After that, I no longer saw Su Won-ro alone. She was busy with Song Jinian, while I had to seize the time to practice. That day, while I was at the racetrack preparing to get in the car for practice, my master suddenly brought Su Won-ro and Song Jinian over. "Let me introduce you, this is Miss Tu." Racer Song Jinian was specially recommended to join. "Everyone, please give him a round of applause." Amidst everyone's applause, my master looked at me standing at the edge and said, "Xiao Yu, from now on, you'll mentor Jinian more." After the introduction, my master respectfully led Su Won-ro and Song Jinian to complete the procedures. The moment the big door closed, everyone started murmuring. I heard that Song Jinian wanted to join our club before, but his skills weren't good enough, so he wasn't accepted. Miss To is truly something else. With just one word from her, he could just waltz in here like that. Back then, we had to go through so many trials to get in. Can't compare. You just can't compare. The envious words continued one after another. My gaze faltered for a moment. No one understood Su Won-ro better than I did. She was cold and always abided by principles. She used to value rules highly, and despite having great power, she never used her special privileges. Now, for Song Jinian, she has broken her own rules for the first time. It seems she really likes him a lot. From then on, Song Jinian joined the club, and I became his senior. I followed my master's words, and seriously taught him. But Song Jinian wouldn't listen. He was very perfunctory every time, and found all sorts of excuses not to attend practice every day. This time, I couldn't stop him in time, and he disappeared. I could only go to the window to call him, and as a result, I saw Su Won-ro. I didn't look any longer. Calmly, I closed the window and continued practicing. I came home very late. As soon as I looked, I saw Su Won-ro standing at the main gate. Her expression was dark and unreadable. It looked like she was waiting for me. I was about to walk over and ask her what was wrong when I heard her cold interrogation. "Xiao Yu, can you stop targeting Jinian all the time? If you don't like him, just say so." I was already exhausted. After hearing her words, in that instant, all sorts of complicated emotions rushed over me. Grievance, sadness, helplessness. Without even guessing, I knew Song Jinian had said something to her to add fuel to the fire. I didn't explain. I just walked past her and went to my room. Since then, I've been much more lenient with Song Jinian. This also made Song Jinian even more smug. Every day he'd just show up at the club to sign in and then leave. Others were indignant and wanted to reason with him, but I stopped them. Shaking my head. This is Song Jinian's life. If he can't pass the exam, he'll be forced to leave. It's his life. He has to be responsible for it. Besides, I don't have time to teach him anymore. I thought that was the end of it. But I never expected that Su Won-ro would suddenly come looking for me, telling me to give my spot in this competition to Song Jinian. At first, I couldn't react. It wasn't until she asked me again if I agreed that I lifted my head to look at her. My eyes revealed a cold anger. "You're telling me to give my competition spot to him?" I tried to control my emotions, but I still couldn't hide the tremble in my voice. "He's your brother-in-law after all. Besides, it's just one spot in a competition. Is it really that important? Su Won-ro, you know perfectly well what racing means to me." Su Won-ro's heart felt as if something was squeezing it tightly. She seemed to also remember those years, remembering how time and time again I had trained desperately for racing. Her hands suddenly clenched. In the end, she said nothing more and silently turned to leave. Ever since Song Jinian, with a single word from Su Won-ro, joined the club gradually split into two factions. One faction was led by me, striving for our goals, The other faction was led by Song Jinian, slacking off on training all day, only thinking about how to suck up to Song Jinian, so he would say a few good words for them, in front of Su Wanru, seeking more benefits. The two factions had never directly confronted each other until after today's practice session. Xiao Yu, there's something I don't quite understand. Can you teach me? I unconsciously frowned, about to open my mouth when the lackey behind Song Jinian suddenly shoved me. What's your problem? Our Jinian was kind enough to ask for your help. Why do you have this attitude? What is your problem? I'm the one who should be asking what Song Jinian's problem is. He had so much time during practice to ask, but he didn't. He just had to wait until it was over to come and ask. Is he doing this on purpose? I didn't want a conflict, so I pulled my friend beside me away. But the person opposite us thought we were scared, and their words became even uglier. Scared now? Let me tell you something. Our Jinian is the future lead racer. Xiao Yu, the fact that you get to teach him is your honor. You're just an orphan. If you make our Jinian unhappy, be careful or hell have you thrown out. One thing led to another, and I don't know who threw the first punch, but the two groups immediately rushed at each other and started fighting. In the chaos, Song Jinian suddenly came up to me and gave me a hard shove. I was already standing on the edge of a high platform. Just as I was about to fall, I grabbed Song Jinian and pulled him down with me. The two of us fell from the high place together. Screams erupted all around. The scene was extremely chaotic. When Su Wanru arrived, we were about to be wheeled into the operating room. Looking at the state of the two of us, Su Wanru's face turned pale. Her usually calm voice carried a hint of panic. What's the situation, Miss To? Young Master Jiang and Young Master Song both fell from the high platform. Both of their legs are broken. Furthermore, Young Master Song landed on top of Young Master Jiang, so his situation is more serious. Right now, there's only one dose of the special medicine for fractures, but Young Master Song will be fine even without the medicine. What do you think? Give it to Jinian. The doctor hadn't even finished speaking when Su Wanru cut him off, her tone decisive. Hearing her decisive tone, I, who had just been jolted awake by the pain, felt like I'd been struck by lightning. She clearly knew how important legs are to a race car driver. The doctor clearly said that Song Jinian's legs would be fine even without the medicine. I tried to suppress the pain, mustering my last bit of strength, and pleaded tearfully, Sister, please don't. I'm begging you, can you give me the medicine? It's okay if you don't like me. It's okay that you left me at the foot of the mountain for a day and a night. But you know perfectly well how important my legs are to me. I can't lose my legs. I still have to pursue my dream. I'm begging you. By the end, I was sobbing uncontrollably. Large, bean-sized tears rolled down my pale cheeks and fell. Seeing the boy who never cried no matter how badly he was injured, crying so brokenly, Su Wanru's hand hanging by her side, unconsciously clenched. Just as she was about to speak, the unconscious Song Jinian beside her was also woken by the pain. Remembering the excruciating pain in his legs when he fell, he also started crying in terror. Wanru, my legs hurt so much. Save me. Hearing this, Su Wanru shook off my hand and rushed over to take Song Jinian's. Be good. I'll have the doctor give you the special medicine right away. After saying that, without any more hesitation, she urged the doctor to inject Song Jinian with the special medicine. I watched this scene from the side and desperately tried to drag myself towards Song Jinian, fantasizing about snatching the special medicine from the doctor's hand. But my broken legs pinned my body down, making it impossible for me to move. The cold needle pierced Song Jinian's leg. I watched helplessly as the special medicine flowed into his body bit by bit. 3 days later, I finally woke up from my coma. This time, I saw Su Wanru at my bedside. Her face was weary, and the depths of her eyes were bloodshot. Seeing me awake, she tremblingly reached out her hand to help me up, but I leaned away to avoid her. Su Wanru's hand froze in midair. After a long moment, she finally pulled her hand back. She spoke in a hoarse voice. Your legs can still walk normally. It's just that you can't be a race car driver anymore. In the future, he'll take care of you anyway. Jinian is my fiancé. I can't just abandon him. I should have had so many emotions. I should have been angry, desperate, sad, miserable, even screaming. But all the emotions that had built up inside me, in the end, were reduced to only helplessness. Please leave. A long silence fell over the hospital room. Finally, Su Wanru stood up. She told me to rest well and then quietly left. The moment the big door closed, I looked at my injured leg and burst into tears. My racing dream had been completely crushed to ashes. Ever since the doctor declared that I could no longer race for the rest of my life, I gradually became a walking corpse. I no longer cried or laughed, just sat in a chair, staring blankly out the window. Until the day of the competition, I ignored the Su family's attempts to stop me and went to the racetrack, sitting in the last row. I looked towards the track, watching Song Jinian take my spot on the field, receiving the applause and fresh flowers that should have been mine. After the competition ended, Su Wanru walked up with a bouquet of flowers. Others also came up one by one to congratulate Song Jinian. Only I sat quietly in my place, watching people come and go and finally disperse. I don't know how long it had been before I finally stood up and walked over. Seeing me approach, Su Wanru instinctively stood in front of Song Jinian. If you're angry, take it out on me. Don't hurt him. I'm not angry. I came to give you two a gift. This sentence immediately stunned everyone for a moment. Everyone, follow me. Leaving those words behind, I walked out of the racetrack. The moment they walked out, a firework shot up into the sky, blooming in an instant. Petals rained down like a shower. Firework after firework lit up the entire sky. A flicker of astonishment passed through Su Wanru's eyes. The next second, she heard me say to her, Su Wanru, do you remember the first day I won a racing prize? You set off a whole sky of fireworks for me. You said you hoped the rest of my life would be brilliant and dazzling, as free as the wind. Now I'm returning these fireworks to you. I wish you and my brother-in-law a lifetime of holding hands, loving each other until your hair turns white. The moment the words brother-in-law left my lips, Su Wanru's pupils contracted sharply. She instinctively looked towards me. This was the first time I had called Song Jinian brother-in-law in front of everyone. Her heart suddenly tightened. Just as she was about to speak, I had already turned and left. The night before the wedding, the Su family was extremely busy. Late at night, the lights downstairs were bright. Mother Su was directing the maids to prepare the necessary wedding items, decorating the bridal chamber. Upstairs, a light was also on in my room. I sat on the carpet, bit by bit, putting the gifts Su Wanru had given me over the years into a large box. I packed up each of these gifts, then carried these boxes and slowly walked downstairs. The night was quiet. The whole house was decorated with a joyous atmosphere, everywhere silently reminding me that this house was about to welcome a new master. I didn't look at the decorations in front of me anymore. I carried the box and walked outside, just in time to run into Su Wanru, who had just returned from the Song family's house. Where are you going? Getting rid of some unnecessary things. Looking at my retreating back without any hesitation, her heart suddenly clenched inexplicably. Ever since that incident, I had become like a different person. Unable to race anymore, she thought I would throw a huge tantrum, but I was incredibly calm. So calm, it was frightening. I turned my head to look at her, and the next second, I heard her say, Jinian said, he hopes you will be the best man at the wedding. He is my brother-in-law now, not my brother. It's not appropriate for someone of my junior status to do this. You two should find someone else. After saying that, I didn't look at her anymore, and walked out step by step. It's not that it wasn't appropriate, but that on the day of their wedding, I had to leave. The night before the wedding, I held a box, and deliberately went to see my adoptive parents. Dad, Mom, I can't attend sister's wedding tomorrow. My birth parents have booked me a flight for tomorrow morning. I will be leaving tomorrow. Why so suddenly? It's not sudden. I should have left a long time ago. Inside is the money I've saved over the years. It's just enough to pay back for the past 15 years of the Su family's expenses for me. I smiled and shook my head. I took out a thick stack of envelopes from my pocket and gave it to them. My adoptive parents saw this and immediately shook their heads. They wanted to stuff the money back to me, but I firmly pushed it back. Please, accept it. Then I knelt on the ground. Solemnly and forcefully towards the two elders, I kowtowed 3 times with a loud thud. Dad, Mom, thank you for your care over the past 15 years. Your kindness in raising me is something I will never forget in this lifetime. From now on, I can't be by your side often. I wish you both good health and a long and prosperous life. When I looked up, there were tears in my eyes and a little blood on my forehead. On the wedding day, Su Wanru was supposed to go to the wedding, but she hesitated and didn't leave. Instead, she paced back and forth outside the room door. Looking at the tightly shut door in front of her, Su Wanru's heart suddenly ached. She always felt that she couldn't go, that if she left, she would lose something very important. Sister, what's wrong? I pushed the door open and walked out, only to see Su Wanru standing in front of my door. The distance and indifference in my eyes made her heart pound once again. Why don't you come with me? I was stunned. Follow her for what? To watch her and Song Jinian show affection for each other? I subconsciously looked at the watch on my wrist. I don't have time. I still have some things to take care of. I'll go straight to the wedding venue later and wait for you all. Su Wanru was about to say something else, when our adoptive mother downstairs urged her. Wanru, the auspicious time is almost over. First there was my refusal, then there was the urging of our adoptive parents, but Su Wanru still hesitated to leave. It wasn't until the urging grew louder that she had to suppress the panic in her heart. Before the wedding starts, come find me. I didn't say anything. I gazed faint as I lowered my eyes, but Su Wanru seemed determined to get an answer from me, repeating herself once more. It's very important. You must come find me. Seeing that she wouldn't leave if I didn't answer, I had to lie and nod. Okay, I know. These words finally put Su Wanru at ease. Only then did she let go of the hand blocking the door and turn to leave. I watched her go downstairs and get into the wedding car. Then, everyone got into the cars behind. Finally, the sound of firecrackers went off, and the wedding car slowly drove away. It grew smaller and smaller in my sight, until it finally disappeared. Su Wanru, happy wedding. Farewell, we will never meet again. After saying that, I carried the suitcase I had packed earlier downstairs, out the door, and walked step by step towards the airport. My back was resolute, never looking back. The wedding of the Song and to families was big news in the capital. Countless people went out early, standing on both sides of the road where the wedding cars passed, waiting for the Su family to toss wedding candy to the sides. The blessings were endless. But in the wedding car, Su Wanru inexplicably couldn't feel happy. She recalled standing in front of my room this morning, those few strong heartbeats. Her heart began to panic again, always feeling like she had missed something. Because the Su family's status is higher than the Song family's, Su Wanru came in person for this bridal pickup. The Su family didn't care about old traditions. They just wanted the public to know that Su Wanru marrying Song Jinian was a blessing for the Song family. Their daughter was marrying down, not marrying up for a prestigious alliance. The Song family also hung lanterns and decorations and draped festive silks everywhere. Song Jinian's groomsmen stood on the balcony, eagerly waiting to see when the Su family's wedding car would arrive. Finally, the 11 o'clock bell chimed. The Su family's motorcade gradually appeared. The excited group went over to Song Jinian's side. They're here, Miss Su has arrived. After a round of noisy fanfare, Su Wanru finally went up to the second floor with her bouquet, arriving at Song Jinian's room. Seeing Su Wanru in her wedding dress before him, Song Jinian couldn't contain his excitement. He was finally about to marry Su Wanru. After some playful banter, Su Wanru and Song Jinian, as planned, got into the wedding car to head to the hotel. On the way, Song Jinian was gazing at Su Wanru the whole time. He didn't know if it was his imagination, but he always felt that since the bridal pickup, Su Wanru had been distracted. He reached out and tugged on her dress. Wanru, what's wrong? Is something on your mind? You don't seem very happy. Last night, thinking about getting married today, I was so anxious I couldn't sleep all night. Only then did Song Jinian stop overthinking it. He gently put his arm around her shoulder. The wedding car stopped in front of the hotel. The two went into the lounge to rest. After talking for a while, Su Wanru finally got up and went out. Remembering the words she said to me this morning, she hurriedly called the butler over. She told him to go get me. Before I arrived, her heart suddenly felt adrift. She wanted to tell me that from now on, Song Jinian would be my brother-in-law. No matter what I thought in my heart, I shouldn't show it in front of Song Jinian. After Song Jinian moves into the Su family home, I could still live at home. I wouldn't need to move out. In his heart, I was still his younger brother. She thought of many things to say and even imagined how she should start the conversation when she saw me. But when she saw that no one was with the butler, all the words she wanted to say turned into panic. Where's Xiaoyu? The butler opened his mouth, not knowing how to begin. When he was sent by Su Wanru to find me, he happened to run into Father and Mother Su heading upstairs. Hearing his purpose, Father and Mother Su exchanged a look. Considering the time, I was probably on the plane by now, and the wedding was about to start. If Su Wanru went looking for me now, she would definitely discover something was wrong. Moreover, it would certainly delay the wedding. So they told the butler to lie to Su Wanru that my leg injury had flared up again and I had to go home to rest. To deceive Su Wanru, they even deliberately brought a note I had written before but had never shown her. On it was my handwriting, stating that I wasn't feeling well and had gone home first. Su Wanru took the note, her brow furrowed tightly. She always felt that something was not right. Just as she was about to speak, the wedding is about to start. The bride should get ready. Su Wanru, who was about to move, pulled her foot back and headed towards the wedding hall. The butler watched her back and quietly sighed in relief. The melodious sound of the piano began to play. Su Wanru looked towards the end of the stage where Song Jinian was slowly walking towards her. The smile on Song Jinian's face was unconcealable. But for some reason, she suddenly thought about what I would look like in a groom's suit. I've always been mischievous, so I probably wouldn't wear a traditional suit, but would wear the black and gold that I like. He wouldn't wait for her to approach like Song Jinian, but would walk towards me with swift steps. His face wouldn't have a shy smile like Song Jinian's, but a bright and unrestrained grin. Then he would intimately put his arm around her shoulder. Perhaps she was too lost in her fantasy, so much so that when the MC asked her if she would take the groom before her, she unconsciously said my name. She was still holding the microphone, and the sound carried her voice throughout the entire hall. The guests were initially surprised and began to whisper amongst themselves. Isn't Xiaoyu the adopted son of the Su family? Why would the eldest daughter of the Su family say Xiaoyu's name? The parents from both families sat in the front row, their faces even more rigid. Father and Mother Su instinctively looked at her, feeling even more anxious. How could their daughter cause trouble at such a crucial moment? Father and Mother Song's faces darkened, turning to Father and Mother Su beside them, demanding an explanation. On stage, hearing Su Wanru say my name, Song Jinian's face turned pale, his hand gripping his trouser leg tightly. He spoke with a tremor in his voice. Wanru, what are you saying? He instinctively wanted to take Su Wanru's hand. There was only one crucial step left, and they would become newlyweds. Why did she say Xiaoyu's name? If it were before, Su Wanru would surely have reacted quickly to smooth over this minor incident. But now she just stared at the guests below the stage, some strangers, some familiar, but the figure she was looking for wasn't there. The next second, ignoring everyone's calls, she bolted off the stage and ran outside. Countless people called her name, some angry, some sad, some desperate. But she didn't look back, and rushed out of the wedding hall. Song Jinian instinctively wanted to chase after her, but his vision suddenly went black, and he fell straight to the ground. The scene descended into chaos. Su Wanru got in the car, slammed on the accelerator, and sped straight to the Su family home. Recalling the look in my eyes this morning, the yellowed note the butler gave her, and the guilt in the butler's eyes. A bad premonition rose in her heart. The car stopped right in front of the Sue family's door. Before she could even park properly, she was already heading into the villa. The two-story staircase, she climbed in just a few steps. She strode quickly to my room door and pushed it open forcefully. There was no one inside. Even all of my belongings were gone. Suwanru's face froze. She grabbed a passing maid. "Where's my brother?" The young master left with his suitcase early this morning. The maid was startled by her. The bad feeling in Suwanru's heart grew stronger. She pushed the maid away, about to rush downstairs when she ran right into the furious father and mother Sue returning home. "Stop!" Suwanru struggled, trying to get away, but unexpectedly, she accidentally slipped and fell down the stairs. Seeing this, Father Sue closed his eyes and almost fainted. This was supposed to be a happy day. Who would have thought such a ridiculous drama would unfold? The Sue family rushed Suwanru to the emergency room, only to suddenly hear from the doctor that she was 1 month pregnant. When the Song family heard the news, they joyfully gathered around Suwanru's hospital room. They had thought this marriage was completely ruined, but unexpectedly, things took a turn for the better. Suwanru was pregnant with a child of the Song family, so she probably wouldn't be able to run away in the future. Among them, the happiest was Song Jinian. He never thought that heaven would be so good to him. At such a crucial moment, it gave her a child. When Suwanru woke up, she found everyone surrounding her, as if she were someone who needed special protection. "Wanru, you're pregnant. You can't take any risks. Now that you're awake, hurry up and apologize to Jinian. You ran away in the middle of the wedding, causing everyone to speak ill of Jinian." How could Suwanru agree to go? She wanted to find me. She wanted to know where I had gone. Suwanru sat up from the hospital bed, intending to go out and find me. But Father Sue didn't give her the chance to look for me. He waved his hand, signaling the servants to come forward and restrain her. But she didn't give the servants any chance to catch her, which made Father Sue so furious he reeled back. "Rebellious child, what on earth are you trying to do? You're already pregnant. How can you run around everywhere? Where in the world did Xiao Yu go?" Her eyes were red-rimmed and her tone carried a hint of pleading. Remembering what the nanny had just said, Suwanru's heart beat faster and faster. "Why are you asking about these things? The most important thing for you right now is to hurry and go with me to the Song family to apologize." Suwanru saw that Father Sue wasn't talking, so she planned to go around him and leave. "Seize her for me." A group of people rushed forward and forced her in front of Song Jinian. "Don't you know what day it is today? You ran away in the middle of it all. Where are the Song and Sue families supposed to put their faces? Suwanru, if you don't want to marry my son, just say so. Why did you have to humiliate my family at this time? How do you expect my son to live after this?" Suwanru clenched her fists, her lips pressed together, saying nothing. At this moment, the hospital room door was pushed open from the inside. Song Jinian's face was pale, his eyes shut tight. Mother Gu paid him no mind, hurriedly running after her son to check on his condition. "Why did you run away to find Xiao Yu?" Recalling his daughter's series of strange actions today, an impossible thought popped into his head. Suwanru clenched her fists, at a loss for words for a moment. What was she supposed to say? At first, she was looking for me because she wanted to tell me to treat Song Jinian as my brother-in-law from now on. But when she learned that I had left and was no longer here, her heart was immediately engulfed by panic. She wanted to find me, but what if she did? Suddenly, many images of me appeared in her mind. Happy, sad, devastated, and even my serene expression from this morning. Gradually, these images merged into the one from after the diary was discovered, when I gathered all my courage to confess to her. "Sister, I like you." A ringing in her ears. She unconsciously put her hand over her heart. "You went looking for Xiao Yu. Was it because you suddenly realized you like him?" He was an experienced man after all. After seeing his daughter in this state, that impossible thought was about to spill out. If it were before, Suwanru would certainly have denied it hastily. But today, not seeing me at the wedding, and not finding me at home, her heart panicked, wanting to find me immediately. The feeling she had buried deep inside for so long sprouted once again, growing into a giant tree. "He is your brother. How could you have such thoughts?" The words she had once said were spoken again by Mother Sue after 3 years. A sadness rose from her heart. Today, she finally understood just how much damage those words could do. Just a crush, just a secret love, not even a single word spoken. No matter how much you like him, it's useless. Xiao Yu has already gone abroad to find his biological parents. He's never coming back. Xiao Yu found his biological parents? Why didn't you tell me? Why did you hide it from me? What have you done? Don't you know? Suwanru's face turned pale. Thinking back on this past month to appease Song Jinian, she tore down the prayer ribbons she hung for me. She abandoned me alone in the ravine. She even gave the only dose of special medicine to Song Jinian, causing me to never be able to race again. Her face grew paler and paler, her steps unsteady. She almost fell to the ground. The scenery around her blurred. All she could hear was her chaotic heartbeat and rapid breathing. "I don't care what you thought before. You're married to Jinian now. You're about to be a mother. Get rid of those thoughts you had before. Live a good life with Jinian." Although Su Wanru ran away halfway through, everyone, including both the Song and Su families, tacitly acknowledged Song Jinian as the Su family's son-in-law. Su Wanru's lips moved, wanting to say something, but her vision suddenly went black, and she fell straight to the ground. When she woke up, she saw Song Jinian sitting beside her, crying his eyes out. What happened today had dealt him a huge blow. The most important moment in a person's life is their wedding, but the person he loved ran away for someone else. How could he face anyone after this? On top of her fainting at the wedding, Su Wanru was found to be pregnant. The doctor had just told her that because Su Wanru was severely agitated, it was uncertain if she could keep the baby. Thinking of this, he cried even more sorrowfully, and his resentment for me grew. Since childhood, he was never my equal in any aspect. Although the Song and Su families had similar statuses, his parents still coveted the Su family's connections. They forced him to curry favor with me, trying to gain some benefits from the Su family. Meanwhile, everything in the Song family was left to his younger brother. He had nothing, including his marriage partner, who also had to be someone who could benefit his brother's future. Initially, his parents had chosen for him, a hot-tempered, divorced heiress. It was he who cried, screamed, and threatened to hang himself, which finally made his parents give up the idea. To extinguish this idea of his parents, he had no choice but to find a way out himself. It just so happened that I had secretly told him that I liked Su Wanru. Although he knew I was just the adopted son of the Su family, this was definitely improper in the eyes of outsiders, so he immediately turned around and told Su Wanru. He originally just wanted to crush my fantasy of marrying up, but unexpectedly, Su Wanru, wanting me to give up completely, asked him to act with her. Of course, he had to seize this opportunity. After all, compared to the person his parents had chosen for him to marry, Su Wanru was much, much better. So, he cried a little in front of her, acted a little, and pretended to be considerate of her. Su Wanru couldn't help herself and fell into his trap. Once, twice, they finally got married. But who would have thought Su Wanru would run away because of me? This undoubtedly made him lose face. His parents were also angry that he wasn't capable enough to keep Su Wanru. But in front of the Su family, they still acted pitiful, to make the Su family feel even more guilty. If it were before, Su Wanru would definitely have hugged him and comforted him. But now, she just stared blankly at the ceiling. This sight made Song Jinian even more dissatisfied. Although he knew they got together initially, because Su Wanru wanted to use him to provoke me, to make me give up and stay away from her, but now he had given her everything. They were married, yet she was still thinking about me. Wanru. Su Wanru looked at him coldly. His face turned pale. As he was about to say something, Su Wanru glanced at her lower abdomen. The doctor had just told her that she was 1 month pregnant, but he had used protection every time. Except for that time our car crashed into the ravine. She was comforting Song Jinian and didn't have time to use protection, just that one time. If I hadn't left yet, then having this baby wouldn't be so bad. But now that I'm gone, this baby is no longer necessary. Whether it was Song Jinian or this baby, they were both just tools for Su Wanru to make me give up hope. Besides, now she had confirmed her feelings for me, so this baby absolutely could not be kept. I want to get rid of this baby. Those 6 short words made Song Jinian jump to his feet. But before he could open his mouth, Father and Mother Su burst in. Father Su scolded Su Wanru harshly. She closed her eyes and fainted. On the other side, after I was picked up by the people my parents sent and taken to America, I immediately saw my biological parents standing at the exit, holding fresh flowers, looking nervously into the distance. I look a lot like my mother. The reunion after 15 years made us, the 3 of us, hold each other tightly, crying nonstop. Mother wiped her own tears, and looking at me, her tears fell again. Even after we got home, she held my hand tightly, refusing to let go. There. Originally, your father and I named you Xing Chen. It's okay, Mom. Just call me Xing Chen. After all, I've already cut ties with the Su family. I'm no longer a member of the Su family. Of course, I should take my biological parents' surname. Mother nodded excitedly, then suddenly looked at my legs. Xing Chen, after you've come to America, do you still want to continue racing? If you do, I'll go contact a club for you right away. I suddenly froze, staring straight at my legs. My eyes suddenly turned red, and tears began to fall one by one. Seeing me suddenly burst into tears, Mother panicked, thinking she had touched a sore spot. She hurriedly hugged me and apologized. I'm sorry, Xing Chen. If you don't want to go, we won't go. Okay? Mom, it's not that I don't want to race anymore. I recounted the story of how Song Jinian pushed me off the high platform, how Su Wanru gave the special medicine to Song Jinian, and everything else. When I got to the part where the doctor announced I could never race again, I threw myself into my mother's arms and sobbed uncontrollably. It had clearly been so long, but when I brought it up again, I still couldn't accept this reality. Mother was both angry and heartbroken. She comforted me for a long time. After watching me fall asleep, she quietly left and made a phone call back to the country. Lao Meng, I have a small matter I need your help with. Ever since Su Wanru became pregnant, Song Jinian had moved into the Su family home. He took extremely meticulous care of Su Wanru. Whatever Su Wanru wanted, he gave her. Her 3 daily meals never had a repeated dish. Under the devoted care of the Su family and Song Jinian, Su Wanru's chin gradually became rounder. The only thing that wasn't good was Song Jinian. Although he and Su Wanru had held a wedding, they still hadn't registered their marriage, so legally, they were not yet husband and wife. Today was Mother Su's birthday. Even if Su Wanru didn't want to go home, she had to return. But when she arrived home, she didn't see a lively scene. Instead, everyone was gathered around, pointing and whispering. Her heart immediately panicked. She hurriedly pushed through the crowd to get inside, and saw Mother Su trying her best to stop Song Jinian, not letting the police take him away. Asking the people around, she learned that my fall from the high platform was intentionally caused by Song Jinian. Every time I practice, I use a camera to record it. Then I review the footage. That day, before arguing with Song Jinian, I was originally going to turn off the camera, but I didn't expect to be pushed down by Song Jinian. It just so happened to be caught on camera. Even if it hadn't been recorded, there were many people who witnessed it with their own eyes at that time. Originally, my close friends wanted to report it to the police, but because of Su Wanro's status, they were stopped by the club's senior management. They were not allowed to go to the police. Until today, a transatlantic call came from America. Only then was this matter brought to light once again. At the same time, the fact that Su Wanru gave the special medicine to Song Jinian was also exposed. A series of scandals completely destroyed the Su family's reputation. The head police officer had a terrible headache. Just then, a car horn sounded from behind the crowd. Everyone turned their heads one by one. They saw a stern-looking middle-aged man get out of the car. He walked straight up to Su Wanru. The man took out a special investigation warrant. Su Wanru, you are suspected of harming others. You're coming with us. After speaking, without waiting for her consent, he waved to his subordinates behind him. Several people rushed forward and directly escorted her into the car. When Mother Su saw this scene, she shouted and wanted to stop them. Father Su came to his senses and stopped her. That middle-aged man's status was far above his. Their family simply couldn't afford to offend him. Meanwhile, the police on this side no longer hesitated. They dragged Song Jinian into the police car. The crowd gradually dispersed, leaving behind only a mess. Mother Su went limp and fell to the ground. Father Su hurriedly tried to help her up. Mother Su's vision went black, and she completely fainted. In the gloomy interrogation room, the middle-aged man sat in front of Su Wanru. Holding a piece of paper, he listed her crimes one by one. The more Su Wanru listened, the more familiar it sounded. She felt that these were exactly the things she had done to me. I had once asked Mother Su about the identity of my biological parents, but they seemed very scared and avoided talking about it. When the middle-aged man mentioned her giving the special medicine to Song Jinian, harming Ambassador Zaya's son Xiao Yu and making it impossible for him to ever race again, she finally confirmed that Ambassador Zaya's son was me. She agitatedly wanted to stand up, wanting to confirm this truth with the person in front of her. But the subordinates behind her held her down firmly. The middle-aged man glanced at her coldly and announced her punishment. On the other side, Song Jinian's situation was even more serious than Su Wanru's. Their investigation also found that Song Jinian had intentionally injured others on more than one occasion. Besides me, there were several others he disliked who had also been harmed by him. Although the Song family was powerful and could have protected him, he had caused so much trouble and provoked someone he shouldn't have. They directly gave up on protecting him. In the end, the Song family had to pay the victims a large sum of money to settle the matter. Therefore, the Song family was furious. They vented all their anger on Song Jinian and directly cut ties with him, leaving him to fend for himself. In the end, it was Mother Su who took him home. Previously, Mother Su had been very fond of Song Jinian. She felt he was gentle and sensible, able to make her cold daughter smile. Every time he visited, the house was filled with laughter. Now that Mother Su saw the terrible things he had done, she couldn't be pleasant to him. Just seeing him gave her a headache. In the end, she directly moved Song Jinian to the house next door and sent a few maids over to take care of him. She also reminded the maids, just make sure he stays alive. You don't need to care about anything else. It was clear that not long ago, Song Jinian was still an object of admiration for everyone, but in just one night, he had fallen into the abyss, becoming the villain in everyone's eyes. Everyone avoided him. He had once rebelled and been unwilling to accept it, but the maids sent by Mother Su completely ignored his temper. I advise you to give up on that idea. If it weren't for the fact that the young miss is carrying your child, the Su family wouldn't care about you at all. Song Jinian also thought of the child in Su Wanro's womb. Only then did he calm down. After all, he had nothing now. The child was his only support. He had to ensure that Su Wanru successfully gave birth to this child. Thinking of this, he stopped struggling. He obediently finished the rest of the porridge. Meanwhile, in the room downstairs, ever since Su Wanru was demoted, it was unknown when she could return to the team. She sat listlessly on the floor, her legs stretched out casually. Her hands hung limply by her sides. Those eyes had lost their former radiance, becoming dull and cloudy. The maid brought in a large box and placed it in front of Su Wanru. Young miss, these are the items sent back from the garbage collection station. They said they were things the young master threw away before. Because the items are too valuable, they didn't dare to dispose of them casually, so they sent them back intact. Hearing that they were things I had thrown away, Su Wanru's dull eyes suddenly lit up. After I left, all the things in my room were thrown away, including the family photo taken before. She had searched every corner of the house but couldn't find a single thing related to me. Su Wanru forcefully pulled the box over. Perhaps because she hadn't been active for a long time, her strength was unsteady, and the box tore open immediately. The contents inside all fell out. After seeing clearly what was inside, her eyes suddenly widened. Inside were all the gifts she had given me. The teddy bear in her hand was from the first day I came to the Su family. She gave it to me as a welcoming gift. At that time, I was so scared I couldn't sleep all night. It was Su Wanru who snuck into my room, holding the teddy bear, and told me bedtime stories. She even said the teddy bear was her avatar, and it would protect me on her behalf. The leather shoes next to it were from Su Wanru, the first birthday gift she gave me. She had specially ordered them from abroad for me. The remaining boxes were all from my birthdays each year, the birthday gifts she gave me. At 12 a.m. on my birthday, as the clock chimed, she would take the prepared gift and place it at my bedroom door. She never missed a single year. Until my 18th birthday, after she discovered the diary hiding my secret feelings, she never gave me another gift again. Su Wanru looked at each item one by one. The pain in her eyes grew deeper and deeper. These gifts were all well preserved by me. If not for the yellowed stains on them, others would have thought they were new. She reached out with a trembling hand, stroking these gifts one by one. Suddenly, it was as if she saw something else. From the bottom of the pile of gifts, she pulled out a diary. Looking at the many pieces of tape on it, she knew. This was my diary that she had torn to shreds. The boy who used to love calling her sister suddenly changed his address, calling her by her full name. She thought it was because I had grown up and had my own secrets. So she didn't think much of it. Until Song Jinian secretly stopped her and told her all about my feelings for her, did she realize that I had liked her for a long time. At that time, she was first shocked, which immediately turned into fear. I had told even my most private matters to Song Jinian, and Song Jinian could never keep a secret. If one day Song Jinian were to expose this, not only her and me, but even the entire Su family would suffer a huge blow. So before this matter was completely exposed, she only wanted to nip my thoughts in the bud. She also didn't know how she burst into my room, and didn't know how she tore my diary to shreds. When she came to her senses, she saw my tear-streaked, heartbroken face. In that moment, she was truly panicked. But thinking of the contents, that panic turned into indignation. From the first day you came to the Su family, I only ever saw you as a younger brother. How could you have those kinds of thoughts about me? If you still want to stay in the Su family, then get rid of those thoughts. Otherwise, it will cause a citywide scandal, and everyone will know, which will completely disgrace the Su family. Her hand caressed the torn diary. She could imagine how devastated I was after she left, crying my heart out. Then, after crying to the point of exhaustion, how I used tape to piece the torn diary back together bit by bit. Perhaps because of the immense pain, the diary still had many wrinkles from dried tears. The tears had smudged the ink, and many words were no longer clear. But one could still feel the deep love I once had for her. That's why I was so unwilling to give up later, wanting to save her time and time again. But she couldn't agree. The disapproval of father and mother Su alone would have hurt me again. So to completely sever my feelings for her, she decided to find someone to put on an act. After learning of her thoughts, Song Jinian volunteered himself. She looked at Song Jinian's almost collapsing body, a sense of pity rising in her heart. But only later did she find out it was all part of Song Jinian's calculations. Everything that followed happened naturally. She and Song Jinian grew closer and closer. The love in my eyes for her also faded day by day. When she first didn't come home for the night because of Song Jinian, when she held Song Jinian's hand and announced their engagement and then announced their marriage, the love in my eyes completely vanished. All that remained was coldness and distance. That was after my heart had died, the only feeling I had left for her. Clearly, she was very happy at that time. Happy that I finally no longer loved her, but now she finally realized her belated love for me was so painful. A sorrowful emotion spread throughout the room. She hugged the diary and sobbed. Jincheng Airport. Half a year later, I set foot on this land once again. When I went to America before, I thought I would never come back. But I didn't expect that after only half a year, I was back in the country. This time, I came back on behalf of my mother to attend her venerable teacher's birthday celebration. My mother couldn't return due to work reasons, so she had me come back. To ensure my safety, she specially asked my younger cousin to return with me. Even though I had only been gone for half a year, looking at everything before me, I felt as if a lifetime had passed. Xia Jiacheng beside me was constantly amazed. He had lived in America since he was a child. This was his first time back in the country. Before we came back, my mother called another close friend in the country and asked her to take good care of us. So after leaving the airport, we didn't go to a hotel. Instead, we were picked up and taken directly to the Gu family's home. The Gu family lived in the south of Jincheng. It was surrounded by prestigious and wealthy families. And not far from the Gu family's home, where my mother's teacher lived, was the place I used to live. Looking at the familiar street scene, I was dazed for a moment. I had traveled this road countless times. At the age of 6, when the Su family took me home, it was on this road. At the age of 15, because I practiced too late, when Su Wanru came to pick me up, it was also on this road. On the day Su Wanru got married, I also saw her wedding car off on this road. Finally, when I left with my suitcase, I followed this road to the airport. As I was reminiscing, a large hand suddenly appeared before my eyes, waving at me. Only then did I snap out of it. Why are you so dazed? It's nothing. The car stopped steadily in the Gu family's courtyard. Just as we got out, Mother Gu came out to greet us enthusiastically. We hurriedly took out the gifts we had prepared and gave them to the maid beside her. After some pleasantries, Mother Gu pulled us to the prepared rooms. Your rooms are both on the first floor. Pushing open the glass door, you can see the beautiful scenery of the back garden. After unpacking our things, we chatted with Mother Gu for a while longer. Only then did we take the introductory gifts and walk to the Feng family's home to visit my mother's teacher. And before leaving, we told Mother Gu not to save dinner for us. Mother Gu nodded. After reminding us to be safe, she saw us off. The distance from the Gu family's home to the Fengs wasn't very far, but Xia Jiacheng was someone who couldn't sit still. He kept pestering me to tell him stories about Jincheng. Although I had lived in Jincheng for 15 years, I always just went back and forth between the club and the Su family home. I rarely went to other places, especially after my feelings were discovered by Su Wanru. I went out even less. Except for the time I went to the temple in the mountains. Hearing there was a temple to visit, Xia Jiacheng clung to me again, making me promise to take him to pray when I had free time. Xia Jiacheng had loved to wander around since he was a child. Originally, in America, his aunt would watch over him, but after returning to the country, he was like a monkey running wild. I really couldn't stand his pestering, so I could only nod in agreement. After we attend Old Master Feng's birthday celebration, I'll take you there. Xia Jiacheng was finally satisfied and let go of my arm. After arriving at the Feng family's home, the maids were already busy, preparing the necessities for this birthday celebration. The butler saw us and hurriedly welcomed us inside enthusiastically. In the living room, I saw Old Master Feng sitting on the sofa at a glance. I placed the prepared introductory gift on the table. Old Master Feng, on behalf of my parents, I wish you a long and peaceful old age. May you live for 3,000 years. Xia Jiacheng and I also wish you to be as evergreen as a 1,000-year-old tree, living a long life without a care for the years. This series of well wishes made Old Master Feng laugh happily. He patted the armrest of the chair next to him and hurriedly told us to sit on the sofa. He asked with concern, "How have your parents been these past few years?" "Everything is fine. It's just that due to work reasons, they couldn't attend your birthday celebration." "It's all right. The thought is what counts. Ziyu, take them out for a walk. Come back for dinner in the evening. You young people should go out more." "I'm old. I can't walk much anymore." We chatted for a while longer before bidding farewell to the old master and going out with Feng Ziyu. On the way, the three of us chatted very happily. When we got to an interesting part, Feng Ziyu suddenly slapped his head. I almost forgot about this. It just so happens that half a month ago, I made an appointment with a racing club. I was planning to go try it out. I remember Xing Chen used to be a race car driver, right? How about you help me see if this club is any good? If it's not, I'll switch to another one. But when we two heard this, our expressions suddenly stiffened. What's wrong? We probably can't go. My brother, for some reasons, doesn't want to go to the racetrack anymore. Then it's okay. We won't go. You are the guests. We must ensure you have a good time here and leave happy. After saying that, he called the butler beside him to inform the club. Then he took us to the park on the other side. In the racing club, Song Jinian was coaching a racer on the simulator. Ever since the incident of him harming others was exposed, the club was also implicated. Members continuously transferred to other clubs. Because its reputation was ruined, fewer and fewer wealthy people joined the club. In the end, Master had to call in many favors to attract some wealthy individuals intending to invest in the club. Just as everyone was practicing enthusiastically, Master suddenly walked in with a dark face. He clapped his hands. "What are you still practicing for? Everyone go home." Faced with Master's sudden anger, everyone looked at each other in confusion. Even Song Jinian, who was sitting on a chair, stood up. He slowly walked towards Master. "Why did we suddenly stop practicing? How would I know? Just now, the Feng family sent someone to say they're not coming to watch anymore. They won't be investing in our club anymore." As soon as these words were spoken, it was like a drop of water hitting a hot pan. Everyone started chattering noisily. Some were so worried they even started to cry. They were counting on this money to maintain their training and competitions. Hearing the continuous laments, Song Jinian's face also grew paler and paler. He clenched his fists and pressed. "Why? How would I know?" Song Jinian didn't know how he left. The harsh afternoon sun stung his eyes, but he didn't seem to feel it. He returned home numbly and ran into Su Wanru, who was just about to go out. He unconsciously spoke up. "Where are you going? What's it to you?" Su Wanru paid him no mind at all. She was about to go out. Just now, Mother Su received an invitation from the Feng family, inviting them to Old Master Feng's birthday celebration. Originally, this had nothing to do with her. It was because she overheard Mother Su, holding the invitation, say that Ambassador Zia's son would also be attending. After the incident that day, everyone knew that Ambassador Zia's son was me. Just thinking that she could finally see me again, she didn't care about anything else. She prepared to sneak to the Feng family's home to try her luck, to see if she could meet me. How is it not my business? I am your husband. We haven't registered our marriage. The wedding wasn't finished. You are not my husband." After speaking, she didn't look at him again and walked straight on. Song Jinian gritted his teeth and secretly followed her. He knew. She was in such a hurry, she must be rushing to see me. Feng Ziyu took me and Xia Jiacheng out for a long time. Our group only returned happily later, but just as we reached the main gate, I saw a familiar figure. From the moment I completely lost hope in Suwanru, I never wanted to see her again. So I subconsciously wanted to take another way. But the sharp-eyed Suwanru spotted me immediately. "Xiao Yu," I sighed. As expected, I still couldn't avoid it. I turned my head and looked coldly at the person who had just arrived. Suwanru instinctively tried to come and hug me, but the two men in front of me blocked her. If it were before, Suwanru would have directly told them to get lost. But now, her status didn't give her that right at all. Moreover, of these two men, one was old Master Feng's grandson. She absolutely couldn't afford to offend him. "What are you looking for my brother for?" Regarding the things Suwanru had done to me before, he had also heard about them. When they returned to the country, Mother had reminded him many times to definitely keep an eye on the Su family, especially Suwanru and Song Jinian. Suwanru was stunned by the question. Her lips trembled. What was she supposed to say? Say that she only knew her heart after I left, and that she was only now thinking of trying to salvage things? As for Song Jinian, she could also send him away. After all, they weren't legally married. He swallowed, staring at me from behind the two of them. "We haven't seen each other in just half a year. I'm in a much better state than when I was at the Su family's home. Those eyes that were always gloomy are now filled with light. Xiao Yu, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you like that. I always thought I didn't like you. It wasn't until you left that I realized the person I truly like is you. As for Song Jinian, he was just a tool I used to provoke you. So, can you give me one more chance?" She was like a wife who, after years of making mistakes, finally realized her fault, begging her husband for forgiveness. Unfortunately, I'm not the type to wait around. The kind of husband who would take his wife back once she admits her mistake. I heard her answer, and my heart was filled with sarcasm. "But didn't you say you only saw me as a younger brother? You said I shouldn't have those thoughts about you. That if we were exposed, it would bring shame to the Su family. You used Song Jinian as a tool to provoke me into leaving. Did I do exactly as you wished? You were clearly the one who caused all of this. Now you're the one saying you regret it. Suwanru, how could there be such a good deal in this world?" My every word made Suwanru's fingers tremble slightly. At first, she just wanted to quickly sever my feelings for her, so she spoke those cruel words without any regard. I thought I had long since stopped caring about what happened before. But when I saw Suwanru again and heard the memories in her words, the long-buried past, suddenly surged in my heart. "Suwanru, you asked me to give you another chance. But why didn't you give me a chance? When our car crashed into the ravine, when I desperately begged you to give me the special medicine so I could save my legs, why didn't you give me a chance? Why didn't you give me hope?" As I spoke, I swayed, about to fall. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. My eyes were filled with unwillingness and hatred. We had known each other for exactly 15 years. She clearly knew what these legs meant to me. They were my second life. But she still let the doctor give the special medicine to Song Jinian, who didn't even need it. After that, I had nightmares for several nights in a row. Xia Jiacheng, who was beside me, listened to my outburst and supported me with a pained expression. I shook my head and continued. "Suwanru, after I went to America, I thought a lot. It's true I was too young back then. All I could think about was being with you, so I didn't consider the consequences. I understand that you hated me, resented me, but besides secretly loving you, I didn't do anything else. But why did you hate me so much that you wanted me to never be able to race again? You kept saying you would support me in the future. Do you think those words are believable?" Suwanru tried to suppress her breathing, but my words were like a sharp knife, ruthlessly cutting into her heart. She didn't know how to answer. At that time, she hadn't realized her own feelings at all. She just thought that doing so would make me give up on her, which is why she said those things. Moreover, she was about to marry Song Jinian then, and she didn't know his true colors. She felt that even if I stayed at home and couldn't work in the future with his ability, supporting me wouldn't be a problem. Besides, Song Jinian surely wouldn't have minded. Now, everything had changed. She didn't dare say those words anymore. I tilted my head and looked behind her. Someone was hiding there timidly. It was obviously Song Jinian. Thinking that he was the main culprit who caused my broken leg, I let out a cold laugh and said loudly, "What are you hiding there for?" Suwanru turned her head to look, and her face immediately darkened. Song Jinian had been following her again. "Go home." Song Jinian was already unhappy after hearing her words. He was already unhappy. Now that she shouted at him like that, he didn't bother hiding anymore. He stood up and walked over. He wanted to grab Suwanru's hand, but the girl quickly dodged it. He gritted his teeth and looked at me, looking me up and down. His gaze finally landed on my leg, and he blurted out, "Our club was about to get sponsorship from the Feng family. Training was going so well, but Master suddenly came in and said the sponsorship was cancelled. After asking around, we found out it was because you can't race anymore. So you didn't want to see the club do well and told the Feng family to cancel the sponsorship. Xiao Yu, you're as selfish as ever." "Shut up," The Su family really knows how to raise someone. What nonsense are you talking about? Su Wanru, disregarding her own body, slapped him across the face. Song Jinian was slapped to the ground, his face red and swollen. If you don't know how to talk, then don't. No one will think you're mute. Su Wanru instinctively wanted to chase after me, but Song Jinian pushed her to the ground. Wanru, I'm your husband. How can you go chasing after someone else? Su Wanru fell to the ground, and blood from her stomach pooled on the ground. It was only then that Song Jinian remembered she was pregnant. He fumbled to call an ambulance and took Su Wanru to the hospital. When Mother Su heard the news, she rushed to the hospital. She slapped Song Jinian hard across the face, no longer maintaining her composure. For the first time, she swore, "You have nothing better to do than cause trouble, do you?" Mother Su had been resting peacefully at home when the butler suddenly ran in, saying Su Wanru was in the hospital. She was afraid something had happened to Su Wanru and her grandson, so she rushed to the hospital. But she happened to meet a servant from the Feng family at the hospital entrance. That's when she found out what a foolish thing Song Jinian had done. I was no longer the adopted son of the Su family, but the son of a diplomat. Now that the Su family's status had plummeted, they couldn't afford to offend us. Not to mention, when Song Jinian was cursing, the grandson of the Feng family was right there. The person who received the order to arrest Su Wanru last time was Feng Ji Yu's uncle. After learning that I was fine, Mother Su raised her hand and slapped him hard. Then she slapped Su Wanru as well. What is your status now? And what is Xiao Yu's status now? How dare you go looking for him? Su Wanru, with what you've done in the past, do you think he would forgive you? Mom, I know what to do. You're trying to anger me to death. Her words didn't bring Mother Su any relief. On the contrary, it made her clutch her heart. After speaking, Mother Su didn't look at them again and stormed out the door. Get rid of those improper thoughts of yours. The baby is gone. There won't be a next time for this. This miscarriage was a good thing for her. Now she could be free of any burdens or ties and carelessly look for me. Looking at Su Wanru's gloomy face, Song Jinian gritted his teeth. On the day of old Mr. Feng's birthday celebration, the guests were as numerous as clouds. After presenting the birthday gifts, Xia Jia Cheng and I stood to the side, quietly talking about going to the temple to offer incense. It's a bit cold in those mountains. Remember to wear more clothes. Also, they have vegetarian food on the mountain, so just bring some water and biscuits. Okay. Suddenly he felt a shadow in front of him. He looked up and saw Su Wanru standing before us. What are you doing here? Are you guys planning to go to the mountain temple in the suburbs? I didn't realize you had a hobby of eavesdropping. I couldn't be bothered with her. I pulled Xia Jia Cheng to the other side. Su Wanru wanted to follow, but someone came to find her. Throughout the whole party, she didn't get another chance to say a single word to me. In the mountain temple outside the city, the sky was gradually brightening. The fog grew thicker. Thick white clouds mingled with the rising mist, enveloping the road surface. Xia Jia Cheng and I walked step by step on the stone path, slowly heading towards the temple on the mountaintop. Not far away, the sound of Buddhist scriptures echoed, and the bell chimed from afar. In the temple courtyard, ancient trees towered. Below, the flagstones were covered in moss. The wind blew, and leaves fell, making a rustling sound. The bronze bell hanging on the corner of the eaves chimed. I took a deep breath and sat on a stone bench in the corner, watching Xia Jia Cheng like a curious child, looking here and peering there. It was supposed to be a beautiful moment, but it was shattered by Su Wanru's appearance, a lingering ghost. This was my first thought when I saw Su Wanru walking towards me. Xiao Yu, can we talk properly? I didn't want to talk to her, but thinking about my impending return to America, what if she kept pestering me and followed me? It was better to take this opportunity to make things clear with her. So, I, who was about to stand up, sat back down. Fine, what do you want to talk about? A glimmer of joy flashed in Su Wanru's eyes. She was about to sit next to me, but I quickly stood up and walked away. I stopped under a Bodhi tree. Watching Su Wanru follow, I said, I'm in a hurry. Whatever you have to say it quickly. Su Wanru took a deep breath and said everything she had wanted to say for the past 6 months. She said she never liked Song Jinian, and that being with him was just an act to make me give up. She also said that Song Jinian harming me was something she knew nothing about. That's why she thought of saving Song Jinian first at that time. After all, Song Jinian was her fiancé then. She also said they had a wedding but never registered their marriage. The baby was an accident. Mother Su wanted a grandchild. Now that she had miscarried, she would kick Song Jinian out immediately. In short, she hoped I could come back, so we could go back to how we were before. This was the first time I had seriously looked at the woman before me. She clearly looked the same as before, but why did she seem so unfamiliar to me? Su Wanru, regardless of why you and Song Jinian got together, you truly hurt me. With Song Jinian's guts, he wouldn't have dared to harm me. He relied entirely on your indulgence. You were the one who alienated me first, was cold to me, and hurt me. He just followed your lead and hurt me along with you. To be honest, the two of you are a perfect match. Su Wanru's face turned pale. She didn't expect me to say she and Song Jinian were a perfect match, but she never liked Song Jinian, especially after knowing his true colors. She found him even more disgusting. I didn't look at her at all, and continued, You were the one who pushed me away first, who made me give up first. Yes, I really did like you a lot before. It's because when I came to the Su family, you were the first person to treat me well. You took up almost my entire youth, so I developed feelings for you. But when you pushed me away, I saw the outside world and realized that I can live without you. You and Song Jinian did so many disgusting things. Now with just one word of starting over, you want to overlook all that and have me get back together with you. Absolutely not. My leg, because of you two, I can never race again. As long as my leg still hurts, I can never forgive you. Su Wanru, sometimes you're very selfish. Although on the surface it seems like you're thinking of everyone, in reality, it's only for yourself. You pretended to be with Song Jinian to push me away. Now to win me back, you say you never loved Song Jinian. In your mind, we are just your tools. You clearly said before that you would put me first, that you would never hurt me. Su Wanru, you were the one who broke the promise first. On what grounds are you asking me to turn back and forgive you? Every word of truth made her slowly close her eyes. The words she wanted to say became incredibly difficult. A bitter taste spread in her mouth. She suddenly remembered a long, long time ago, the night I was too scared to sleep. She held a small bear and sat by my bed, telling me a fairy tale. At the end of the story, she placed the small bear by my pillow and said with a firm voice, I will be like this little bear protecting you forever. I will absolutely never hurt you. You will always be my #1 choice. You must be just coaxing me. No, I'm not. Let's pinky promise. Okay, if you really hurt me in the future, I'll never pay attention to you again. Tears quietly fell from the corners of her eyes. Su Wanru opened her eyes again to look at the person before her, but I didn't turn back and just walk down the mountain. Xiao Yu, I paused for a moment, but I didn't turn around. Is there really no chance for us? Without turning back, I disappeared from her sight. Su Wanru finally covered her face and sobbed. Wanru, in Song Jinian's eyes there was no longer hatred or unwillingness, only sorrow. Before, in order to climb the social ladder with Su Wanru, he did all sorts of evil things, even losing the only person who was good to him. After much difficulty, he became the golden son-in-law everyone admired, only to find that the woman he loved with all his heart already had someone else in her heart. His eyes were filled with confusion and helplessness, especially after hearing our conversation. He finally came to a realization. Su Wanru didn't love anyone, she only cared about herself, and his sacrifices over the past 4 years had all gone to waste, turning into scattered dust, dissipating with the wind. He knew that if he were a bit more clear-headed, he should leave Su Wanru immediately, leave the Su family. But now the Song family had disowned him, and father and mother Su didn't like him. The only thing he could do was cling tightly to the woman before him. So he retracted his sorrow and looked at Su Wanru expectantly, wanting to take her hand. Wanru, you still have me. Can we live well together? But Su Wanru, just like me moments ago, didn't even spare him a glance and turned to leave. The last glimmer of hope in his heart shattered. He knew it was impossible now. I waited at the airport for a long time before finally seeing Xia Jiacheng rushing over. Where did you go? Why are you only here now? I just went to the hospital to watch a joke unfold. What joke? Song Jinian, out of love turned to hate, pushed Su Wanru down the mountain road, causing her to suffer multiple fractures. Because she didn't receive timely medical attention, both her legs had to be amputated. As for Song Jinian, he lost his footing and fell, and both his legs are now crippled. When Mother Su heard this, she fainted from anger. Father Su directly told the butler that after those two are discharged, to kick them out of the house. Let them fend for themselves. Unfortunately, they started fighting again before even leaving the hospital. They rolled straight down the stairs. Both of them ended up in a vegetative state. Happy now? What does it have to do with me? The plane is about to take off. I'm going to sleep first. I didn't care at all. I closed my eyes. The plane streaked across the sky, disappearing into the clouds.